after passing an unprecedented resolution.
Plus, the largest supermarket merger in American history is facing government pushback.
And in sports, Ohio men's basketball clinches a spot in the upcoming MAC tournament. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Haley Swano. Welcome to Newswatch. Well, Athens City Council is discussing how it will move forward addressing the local impacts of global crises.
With more on this story, we are sending it out to Athens City Hall, where Newswatch reporter Jack Green has the latest. Jack.
Reese and Haley, last time we spoke, the city council was worried about what would happen with this new precedent set by a resolution that was passed last week calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Now, Councilmember Micah McCary has put forward a resolution offering guidance on how the council could move forward with similar issues. McCary's resolution will affirm the city's work, with the Strong Cities Network, a group of cities working to address global issues on a local level. He says this will create opportunities for the council to consider means by which it can hear concerns from the community that might have global implications without it necessarily coming through as a resolution. It also reaffirms the city's support for efforts promoting open dialogue in the city. The resolution will be up for discussion by the council in the committee of the whole tonight. Now, this is not the only major issue up for discussion at council tonight, so tune into Newswatch tomorrow and stay tuned to WOUB.org for a full recap of tonight's meeting. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Jack Green, live at Athens City Hall.
Thanks so much, Jack.
Well, Nelsonville City Council is also meeting tonight, and they will be interviewing candidates for one or potentially two council seats. Last weekend, Council President Rita Wynn announced her resignation and then resigned her resignation. Before her resignment, the Vice President of Council, Nancy Sonic, sent an email assuming the position of acting president. This past Sunday, Council member Corey Taylor sent an email to Council stating he did not accept Wynn's resignment. Two other council members emailed in agreement. The three council members also said they will not refer to Wynn as president at the meeting. There is currently no written protocol for accepting or rejecting resignments. Wynn says she plans to run the meeting as president tonight.
An investigation is underway of the fatal plane crash near an airport in southern Ohio. On Saturday afternoon, the plane crashed into a field about a quarter-mile north of the James A. Rhodes Airport in Jackson County. The victims of the crash were identified as 44-year-old Daniel T. Baker, 45-year-old Zebulon D. Logan, and 75-year-old Dan Baker. No immediate word was said on where the aircraft came from and where it was headed. The Federal Aviation Administration and National Transportation Safety Board will further investigate the cause of the crash. Ohioans are concerned about the future of IVF after Alabama court ruling. This week, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that a fertilized frozen embryo has the same legal standing as a baby. Ohioans going through the in vitro fertilization process do not have a reason to worry, but questions have been raised about the practice. Since voters passed a constitutional amendment guaranteeing reproductive rights in Ohio, the IVF process isn't being questioned. But Deputy Director for Pro-Choice Ohio, Jamie Miracle, says while the amendment protects Ohioans' reproductive rights, those who support it need to remain politically active to protect it.
All right, well, you're going to be taking a live look at the Nelsonville Town Square, where today it was very sunny. It reached a high of 66 degrees.
Yes, Haley, today was also beautiful out in Athens, especially after a weekend of snow. Oh, yeah. Joining us now is lead Newswatch forecaster Emily Dietz. Now, Emily, please tell me these temperatures are going to be what we see the rest of the week.
Well, we're definitely seeing temperatures, but how do you guys feel about thunderstorms?
No comment.
No, they're all right. They're all right. We need them. Why not?
Well, we're going to be seeing some thunderstorms this week, but we are definitely still going to be seeing those temperatures for a little while longer. And in fact, right now it's 66 degrees with clear skies. We're starting to see that humidity climb a little bit as we are preparing for this rainy weather moving forward. Now, currently throughout the area, our highs for today were Athens up into in the 70s, so quite unseasonably warm for only being February 26th. Lancaster and Zanesville and Newark all about 66 degrees, so definitely a lot of warm weather here in the state of Ohio and in our surrounding states around us as well. In the Ohio Valley, definitely a lot of warm air moving around. Now this warm air is also giving us fuel for these thunderstorms that we're expecting. So tonight we're going to see a general thunderstorm risk area for southeast Ohio and the surrounding area. That's where you're seeing this dark green going on around us. But this light green area, we're looking at a marginal risk of severe weather. So that's going to include isolated thunderstorms, some stronger winds, and possible hail. But this is really going to be happening later today around midnight, even into the 1 a.m. times. So tonight we're not really expecting too much of that, and that's going to be mainly caused by this low pressure system. So be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out just how much rain we're expecting from this system.
Thanks, Emily. Well, now that warm weather is slowly starting to approach, Mandy Gaither brings up an important topic, getting children to move more. In today's Health Minute, Gaither has 6 ways to help kids be more active.
It may compete with homework or screen time, but getting your kids moving is critical for their health.
Benefits of being active go far beyond the way that your body looks, but the way that your body feels.
Catherine Sherry with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program says the first way to get kids to be active is to help them see the benefits of it. She says movement can help with things like getting good sleep, boosting energy, and helping them to feel strong and confident. Second, it needs to be fun.
It is not about sending them to go run to be active, but being active with them, going on bike rides together as a family, taking walks, but make the walk fun.
Third, encourage movement by talking about it in a positive way. For example, instead of saying, I need to go on a run to lose more weight, try saying, it's such a nice day, I'm going for a run. Next, practice the forced choice technique.
And what that is giving the child the option between 2 choices. Hey, we're done with our phones today. Do you want to go shoot some hoops with me or ride your bike with me?
Fifth, get kids moving by being active yourself. Sherry says children often model their parents. And finally, Sherry says to never use movement to shame or punish a child.
Being active and moving is a daily need. It is not something that should be earned or something that should be taken away.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Sherry also says it's important for your child to build a positive relationship with activity now so that it's something they enjoy to do when they are getting into adulthood. Well, the U.S. government is trying to block the largest supermarket merger in American history. In 2022, Kroger and Albertsons announced they were merging in a $25 billion deal. The Federal Trade Commission is now suing. They claim the deal would eliminate competition in the grocery industry, leading to higher prices for consumers. Together, Kroger and Albertsons own dozens of chains, including Safeway, Vons, Harris Teeter, and Fred Meyer. The companies argue the merger will help them compete against non-union giants like Walmart, Amazon, and Costco.
The newest member of the Ohio Martin Luther King Holiday Commission has roots here in Southeast Ohio. Newswatch reporter Allison Patton has more on how Heather Brazel Hill hopes her presence on the commission will inspire her community.
Heather Brazel Hill grew up in Morgan County, but after leaving for college, she and her husband found their way back. Now she owns 3 businesses and still finds the time to be active in local politics.
There isn't a lot of people that are African American that are in the Republican Party that are business owners and that are doing the things that I'm doing. So
she was elected to serve on the Morgan Local Board of Education in 2004.
I had no idea until a few years ago that I was the first African American ever elected in my county.
Last month, Brazel Hill was appointed to the Dr. Martin Luther King Holiday Commission.
I'm standing behind the struggles that Martin Luther King and Frederick Douglass went through and the struggles that I went through.
The commission continues Dr. Martin Luther King's dream of peaceful social change and honors people who do that. Most of all, Brazel Hill hopes she is a person that young people can look up to.
I was here in Appalachia, Ohio, where people don't look like me. And when people can see, you know what, she did it, I can do it.
She wants to continue to serve the people of Ohio. One day, she hopes to see herself as the Lieutenant Governor or Governor of Ohio. Reporting for Newswatch in Athens, I'm Allison Patton.
Brazil Hill was also appointed to the Frederick Douglass Foundation, which focuses on educating and serving the community. She represents Athens, Morgan, Muskingum, Perry, and Washington counties.
Coming up, social media policies could face change around the country. And cigarette sales are falling as smoke-free alternatives become more popular.
Thunderstorms are on their way here to Athens, Ohio. Stay tuned to Newswatch just how much rain we're expecting.
I'm Rick Steves. Join me as we scale the mighty Alps. We'll travel through 5 different alpine countries and see some of Europe's most iconic mountains. Along the way, we'll conquer many of these peaks, enjoying plenty of thin air thrills. We'll visit charming towns and experience lots of unique alpine culture. And finally, we'll hike from easy day trips to a classic long-distance tour.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
PBS is celebrating the 25th anniversary of Ken Burns' brilliant film, The Civil War, with a complete frame-by-frame restoration from the original negative. It's truly glorious to look at. We talked with Ken Burns himself about what made it the most successful documentary series in broadcast history. Please join me, Sam Waterston, for this tribute to Ken Burns, The Civil War.
Thursday at 8 on WOUB.
I better get started.
Come on. Watch me. These are your immigrant ancestors. Wow. What an act! God, sorry. You're alive!
I am!
Gospel music is soul. Amen, brother.
This is amazing.
I'm Miranda Esmond-White. Join me for Aging Backwards 2, where I'll explore the groundbreaking science behind our connective tissue. It turns out that connective tissue surrounds every part of our body, and keeping it healthy is the secret to remaining young. In this program, I'll show you exactly how you can keep your connective tissue healthy and reverse the aging process.
Passed laws that forbid social media companies from blocking or removing user content that goes against their platform rules. Now, similar changes to social media are being considered countrywide following recent arguments presented to the Supreme Court. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down the arguments and how the court's decision could impact the future of the internet.
At the heart of Monday's Supreme Court arguments, the First Amendment. Can states ban social media companies from blocking content in order to protect the user's free speech? Or does doing so infringe on the company's First Amendment rights to moderate their own platforms?
If this statute goes into effect, we sort of have to fundamentally change our business models.
Texas and Florida both passed laws in 2021 looking to keep social media sites from what the states described as unfairly silencing conservatives. Florida Solicitor General Henry Whitaker argues the state's law is constitutional because it targets behavior, not expression. He says the companies act like public utilities and should be regulated the same way.
The telephone company and the delivery service have no First Amendment right to use their services as a choke point to silence those they disfavor.
Opponents, including NetChoice and industry groups suing to block both laws, argue the laws violate the company's own First Amendment rights to decide what speech to welcome on their private platforms. Their attorney telling the Supreme Court the broad nature of the laws could lead to a wide range of unintended consequences.
These same companies are getting hammered by people that say we're not doing enough to keep material that's harmful to children off of these sites, and yet these laws make it impossible for us to keep material that's harmful to children off of our sites.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Former President Trump, his adult sons, and 2 former Trump Organization officials are appealing the $464 million civil fraud judgment against them. Friday, Judge Arthur Engoron issued the official judgment in the New York Attorney General's case. The former president is personally on the hook for $454 million, including interest payments. Earlier this month, they were found liable for fraud, conspiracy, and issuing false financial statements. They were accused of inflating the value of real estate assets to get more favorable loan and insurance rates. The Trump filed a notice of appeal with the court today, which marks the first business day after the official judgment. Today, Manhattan prosecutors request a gag order before the former president's trial.
Well, new information about the presidential primary season has been released. Former President Donald Trump wins the state of South Carolina by 20 points, beating Nikki Haley. She vowed to make the case for her candidacy for at least one more week after losing her home state. Before the race shifts toward the national campaign of Super Tuesday, Michigan is expected to vote this Tuesday.
I know that we've got about 9 months until the general election, and we are taking Michigan very seriously, as they should.
This Tuesday, voting begins for both parties. Some progressive Democrats are urging President Joe Biden to call for a permanent ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war, using Michigan as a state with a large Arab American population. Other state Democrats are understanding of the differences, but urging the party to stick together. The grassroots campaign is urging undecided voters to make their voices heard and vote. Michigan Capitol reporter Jordan Hermani states if an undecided showing does arise, it could push the Biden administration to navigate in a different direction. Well, humanitarian aid deliveries to Gaza declined by 50% this month. The decline is compared to January's aid deliveries, according to the Commissioner General of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees today. Philippe Lazzarini says the last time the agency was able to deliver food aid to northern Gaza was on January 23rd, as Israeli forces blocked deliveries from entering Gaza. On February 20th, the World Food Program announced that it had paused aid deliveries to northern Gaza. However, Lazzarini said agencies appealed more access to deliver needed assistance.
Well, good evening. Things are quite warm compared to the Saturday that we saw. We're seeing temperatures right now about 66 degrees and some really nice clear skies outside. I saw a lot of people walking, really enjoying the nice conditions outside. But with this nice weather, it's really starting to feel like spring. Even though we're still 3 weeks away, we're going to be seeing showers and thunderstorms that are really pushing us into these spring-like conditions. Today, we have a general thunderstorm risk area issued for southeast Ohio, and we're under a marginal risk for severe weather through the western part of Ohio into Indiana as well. Now, this general thunderstorm risk area includes regular thunderstorms with lightning as well as rain, and this marginal risk, we may be seeing some stronger winds, possible hail, and that's going to be really late tonight, mainly in the midnight hours, but we're really going to be seeing a lot of this rain happen tomorrow morning. But what's causing all of this rain, especially since we just saw snow this past weekend? We have a large low pressure system sitting right over the Ohio Valley area and a really big area of warm air sitting right below it. And warm air and moisture really fuels thunderstorms really well and just rainy conditions. So as this warm air up from the south comes into Ohio and pushes up against this low pressure system, it's creating a lot of this pocket of rain that we're going to be seeing over the next couple of days. Now we're also seeing these high temperatures. Dallas up at 89 degrees, Louisville at 74, so definitely quite warm, quite unseasonably warm for it being February 26th. Now tonight we'll be seeing temperatures semi-normal compared to the 70-degree day. We had a low of 49 degrees and again 80% chance of showers starting around the midnight hours. Maybe seeing some pop-up thunderstorms at this time, but the main block of rain is going to be coming from 8 to 9 in the morning and lasting until the late morning, early afternoon. And we see these clouds start to move in tonight, some pop-up thunderstorms, and then we see that really big mass of rain really moving through the area, and that's where we're going to see the bulk of our rain for tomorrow. And then we'll get a little bit of a break after the system moves through around 10, 11 in the morning, and then we'll just be seeing some pop-up thunderstorms for the late afternoon, and then another big sweep of large thunderstorms through the rest of the evening into Wednesday. So tomorrow we're going to see a high of 68 degrees. Again, that warm air really adding fuel to the storm and 90% chance of showers. So if you live in a flood-prone area, We're anticipating a little over half an inch of rain tomorrow, so make sure you have a way to stay alert for any warnings that may be issued for your area. Now here's a good look at tomorrow, that thunderstorm risk map. Again, we're going to be seeing this area under a marginal risk, which means stronger winds, some possible hail, and definitely a lot of rain. And tomorrow night, that warm front still going to be sweeping through, again pushing that rain into Wednesday. And then we have this cold front pushing into the area, which is going to clear things out quite nicely. So Wednesday, we're still going to be seeing this rain carry on in the morning, some thunder along with that, definitely not as severe as tomorrow. And then by the afternoon, we're looking around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, we're going to see some nice clearing going on. That's really also going to cool things down. So we're going to see a high of 44 on Thursday. And as we jump into May, that's when we're going to see temperatures start to bump up, start to see things really getting into the spring-like conditions with those partly cloudy skies.
Cigarette sales are declining while smoke-free alternatives are growing. Cigarettes fell to about 60% of the U.S. nicotine industry last year, while nicotine alternatives like pouches and vapes are one of the fastest growing nicotine products in the U.S. If this trend continues, it will take about 3 years for cigarettes to make up less than half of nicotine sales in the nation. The decline is due to high prices and less shelf space, so retailers can make room for cigarette alternatives.
Next in sports, Ohio men's basketball clinches a spot in the MAC tournament with its win over Northern Illinois. That story when Newswatch returns. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X formerly Twitter, and YouTube.
In hospital, you deal with cases. On the district, you deal with people. When mothers come to us, they bring everything they are with them.
There's nothing nicer than a fresh start.
You have done your best. Sometimes our best must be enough.
We're gonna take good care of you. We're with you now.
Call the Midwife premieres March 17th on PBS and the PBS app.
In America, horses helped forge a new world. And that new world created unique horses. Shaped by land and work, but sustained by their connection to us. Each breed has its own story and legacy. These are American horses.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
If you don't drive it, donate it and support something you use every day. The Maestro and the European Pop Orchestra blend pop and classical music to deliver an unforgettable concert. Share this global sensation with your entire family. Experience the passion, the romance, and the timeless melodies of the Maestro and the European Pop Orchestra. Here on PBS.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Maria Manessi with sports. The Mid-American Conference is set to add an East Coast school in 2025. It was announced earlier today that the University of Massachusetts will join the MAC in all sports, including football, in the 2025-26 season, according to The Athletic. UMass previously was in the MAC from 2012 to 2015 and has been an FBS independent program since. On the hardwood, Ohio men's basketball clinched a spot in the upcoming Mid-American Conference tournament with its 80-59 win at Northern Illinois on Saturday. Overall, the Bobcats shot 53% from the field. Aiden Hadaway tallied 17 points and was a perfect 6 for 6 from the field for the Bobcats. Miles Brown also had 17 points in the victory. Ohio has 4 regular season games remaining before the MAC tournament, which is set to begin on March 14th. Now taking a look at the standings, Ohio sits in 4th place in the MAC with a 9-5 conference record. It follows closely behind Central Michigan, who it beat back on January 16th at the Convo. I mentioned earlier that 4 games remain, and it's an important stretch for the Bobcats. It begins with hosting first place Akron tomorrow night before taking on Bowling Green Friday night. As for Ohio women's basketball, it fell short to Buffalo 67-54 on the road on Saturday. The Bulls came out hot and held a 27-13 lead at the end of the first quarter. Despite outscoring Buffalo 10-2 in the second quarter, Ohio struggled to come back in the second half. Jay McClure led the Bobcats with 13 points. Ohio will return to the combo on Wednesday against Western Michigan. On the high school level, it was a busy weekend as tournament play continued. The Federal Hawking girls had a tough matchup against Adena on Saturday. It was a lot of back and forth action for a majority of the game, but a 7-0 run late in the game helped the Lancers to a 48-36 victory in the district semifinals. Bradley Cottrell led the Lancers with 23 points. Athens girls basketball saw a historic season come to a close with its 50-35 loss to Circleville on Saturday. The Bulldogs finished the season with a 19-5 record, including its first outright TVC championship since 2014. Athens has no graduating seniors and will look to repeat success come next season. As for Alexander, it couldn't keep up against Portsmouth West as it fell short 42-31. Lily Ryder and Kaylee Hudnall scored 24 of the Spartans' 31 points. Alexander finished its season with a 15-9 record after just one win last season. The Nelsonville York boys face off against Minford in the sectional finals. The Falcons outscored the Buckeyes in the 25-6 in the second quarter and proved to be too much, ending the Buckeyes season 69-40. And finally, the Waterford boys earned its first playoff win since 2021 with a 55-48 win over Southern. It also marked head coach DJ Cunningham's first playoff win as head coach. Waterford will now prepare to take on Federal Hawking in the district semifinal. That's all I have for sports. Back to you, Reese.
Thanks, Maria. Still ahead, one runner falls to his knees following a race, but not to catch his breath. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
We're creating a mixed income community. Being low income shouldn't bar you from experiencing a higher quality of life.
I have grown up in a journalism environment where I was frequently the only woman in the room.
At some points, a row of trees went in.
I feel segregated. They were planted to hide this community.
We live in a virtual reality world. Everybody everywhere knows what's going on. So people are aware that there's a problem here.
I wanted her story told, and I felt good that I was the one that was able to tell it.
I know how to do other things to survive.
Rise up and say, you know what? Enough is enough.
We cover all the angles. We report the facts. We find clarity. PBS is here, delivering the credible, reliable, thoughtful election coverage you need to make informed decisions. PBS, your trusted election source.
Finally tonight, it was the run of a lifetime, a moment a couple won't soon forget. On Sunday, a man and his girlfriend both competed in Las Vegas's Rock and Roll Running Series. The man crossed the finish line first, and he waited for his girlfriend to complete her race. And then the surprising moment came. The man got down on one knee and proposed. She said yes, they exchanged a kiss, and off they ran. That's so sweet.
I love it. How cute is that? But personally, I'm not a runner, so that's not my ideal proposal. But for 2 runners, that's perfect. Now, for people that want to go on a run tonight, Emily, what's the weather going to look like?
Well, tonight's actually not looking too bad. It's going to be a little on the cooler side, 50 degrees. We are expecting an 80% chance of showers, but it's really coming really late in the evening. But tomorrow and Wednesday are going to be our big weather days. We're expecting thunderstorms to happen, a little over an inch of rain. So if you live in a flood-prone area, be advised for any of those warnings that may be issued. And then we'll see a slight drop in temperature on Thursday. But then as we go into March, we're setting us up for a nice March.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Maria Manessi and Emily Dietz, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Haley Sueno. Thanks so much for watching. We hope you have a great night.